if you guys are currently drop an emoji in the chat if you guys are currently asking for referrals for clients and getting referrals. Okay, cool. So that's one thing that I mean that's one thing that we could just really, really add a good deal of profitability to your business is getting referrals clients. Because as you guys all are aware, the traditional insurance route is that's your entire business, where you have to do that to survive. Luckily, we have leads, but lead is a great way to make a sale and build a book of business really fast. And then I think it's up to us to elaborate off of that and tap into clients' warm markets. So a few of you guys are, but the majority of you on this call have not. So I went on. So this was about 6 months ago. It was last spring/summer. I went a few months and I just went hard on the referrals. I'm like, I'm gonna see how much I can sell just getting referrals. And I sold a good 40. I sold about 40, 50,000 solely off of just referrals in a month. And I did that a couple months in a row. Typically, because before I would ask, I'd be like, hey, do you guys know anybody that needs life insurance or needs, any sort of protection? They'll be like, yeah. We got your card. We'll definitely let you know. And then they would never call me. So I was like, shoot, what can I do? So I watched a training video on YouTube about getting referrals and then kind of put my own tweak and spin on it. And basically it would be, I'd call the client up or, as I'm at the end with John, basically like, all right, John, appreciate your patience, just wrapping up here. Obviously tie it down, same as always, have him write down my information, save my number in his phone, boom, 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 let him know everything we do, just like what's on the script and how you guys all tie down a sale. And then within that, at the end, what I would say is they'd be like, all right, guys, so one thing the office requires, actually due to there being $5 billion a year in unclaimed life insurance, is the office has us put an emergency contact list together. So what that means, it's basically simply need 5 people that I can get a hold of, God forbid when something happens to you, to make sure those proceeds are paid out accordingly. So it looks like the first beneficiary we have here is going to be your daughter, Stacy. And then who's 4 other people that I can get a hold of, God forbid when something happens to you, John, so we can make sure that death benefit gets paid out. And then they'll be like, oh, my other son Nathaniel and my niece and my cousin and whatever. Be like, great. So you get all their names, all their numbers, and be like, all right, Mary. So I just sent you a text message, and I'll actually drop this. I'll drop the script here for you guys. The referral script in the chat. But basically what it is, let's see here, if I can download this as a PDF. But basically what the script text message would say, it'd be like, hey, hey, so-and-so, or it'd be like, hey, I put you down as an emergency contact list on my life insurance policy. Jonah is going to be getting a hold of you. He's my insurance guy. He's got to run through a couple things. This is his number. And then I would have them copy and paste that to all 5 of the people I just got their numbers with to let them know I'd be reaching out. And then I'd basically be like, yep, so call them, let them know I'll be reaching out, end the call. And then I would call them immediately. And it's actually better when I was running in homes because I would call them in the home, put them on speakerphone, and I'd app the client up right then and there. But with virtual sales, basically what I would do is after I got their number, I'd shoot them a text, give them a call, and be like, ring, ring. Hey, John. Hey, John. How's it going? I'm Mary's insurance guy. Did she let you know I'd be reaching out to you? Who is this? I'd be like, well, it's Jonah. Okay. Well, perfect. She should have shot you a text. Oh, yeah, I got that. Okay, perfect. So like I said, I'm her insurance guy. The reason for my call is she had put you down as an emergency contact on her policy. She took out a policy that protects the mortgage and provides you guys 2 years of mortgage payments and protecting that $180,000 that you guys have in the mortgage to make sure that you guys have enough time to get the home figured out, get the finances ordered, and get the house cleaned up and it's taken care of for that period of time. So what I want you to do, I just texted you my digital business card and I'm going to be the direct point of contact. God forbid something were to happen. And I'm going to be the one getting one to get a hold of to make sure that your family's paid out and you guys are paid out fast. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. I'll save you my number. Appreciate it, Jonah. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. And then sounds great. Any questions? Nope. Sounds good. Sounds good, John. And then also I wanted to ask you, because obviously it's important. Do you guys currently have, do you have a family? Do you have a spouse? Yeah, I'm married. Okay, perfect. Do you have kids? Yep, I got kids. Gotcha. Sounds good. Do you guys currently own or rent a home? Okay, we currently rent. Okay, perfect. And is it just you working, John, or you and Mary both working? Oh, it's just me right now. Mary watches the kids. Okay, understood. Understood. The reason I asked, John, is because do you currently have any sort of coverage that protects you and your family? God forbid, if you were to become sick, disabled, or pass away. And John's like, yeah, I got that covered through my work, or whatever it is. Okay, perfect. So as you're aware, John, so work coverage is great when you're employed. Of course, take full advantage of it. But as you're aware, it's like a work car. And if anything happens, whether you become disabled, you lose your job, you switch jobs, you retire, or unable to work, you lose the work coverage as well. So typically, the majority of my clients usually have about 1 to 2 private policies in place in addition to their work insurance. When is Mary available? Yeah, she's at the house. Okay, perfect. You guys have about 10 minutes to, run through some private coverage options for you guys. They're like, yeah, okay, what you got? And then boom, just go in and close it. So, or whatever the case may be. But the thing about referrals is you guys have to understand. So it's really a smooth process and a very non-pressure type of sale. Because with the referral, if they give me any pushback, I'm out. I'm just like, okay, perfect, no worries. Have a blessed day. Let me know if you guys need anything. Because referrals, they didn't fill out a form. They didn't fill out a request. They did not ask for our help. So if they give me any pushback, I'm out. Versus a lead, a lot of you guys have heard me on the phone. It's like, I'll push a lead till they hang up on me because they filled it out and they asked me to call them. A referral is not that case. So it's a very non-pressure, very just quick type of sale. Like, hey, do you guys have anything set up? If not, great. Grab a pen and paper. We'll get this knocked out. Show you your options. If so and they're not interested, no worries. Have a great day. No big deal either way. Not a high pressure situation. But what I noticed is if I got 5 emergency contact numbers, I would close one of them. Almost every single time I would close at least one, which was huge because you close one of it, you get 5, close one. Well, you just doubled your commission. You just helped another family. And not only that, but also the referrals you're getting, they're not filling out leads. So they don't have anybody else calling them. So the persistency on those suckers is not only a lot higher because they didn't fill out a lead and they don't have anybody else calling them, but also somebody they know took out the policy as well. And everybody wants to work with other individuals and other people. So if you guys are anything like me, when you're closing down a sale and you're like, shoot, you don't want to mess it up, or you've been on the phone with the client for an hour and a half, and you think if you're on the phone with them for another 5 minutes, you're afraid they're going to tell you they don't want it anymore, they changed their mind, or whatever it is. You just want to get them off the phone before you mess anything up. I understand that. I felt the same way. But you guys have to understand, it's just exactly what Buck said. Referrals are endless leads, especially if you can get in with certain tight-knit families where we've all run into those families that are just very tight-knit. Bro, they'll refer you to their entire family, their cousins, their dog, their spouse's nephew, whatever the case may be. And dude, you'll just go down a whole train and you'll app up the entire, like those families that have like 300 people at the family reunion, you'll app all of them up. So that's referrals are huge, and one thing we definitely dropped the ball on. So what I would have to do is I literally would leave a sticky note by my computer that said, remember to get referrals at the end, because I'd always forget. I was terrible with it, but I made it a discipline and I practiced it consistently for 2.5 months. I went really hard with it, and I wrote a ridiculous amount of business doing so. So referrals are huge. Looking at the chat here. It's like Bailey, Ben, Turner. Turner, do you get referrals?
Honestly, haven't gotten one, but I haven't asked a single time.
Okay. Bailey, are you still on here?
Yeah.
Bailey, what do you practice getting referrals?
Yeah, I've actually gotten a lot just from not asking, but I've been intentional about asking. I haven't tried what, the emergency contact list. If I kind of feel the vibes are good, we made a good connection, they talk about their family. I'm like, hey, like, anybody in your family or friends or sphere of influence, that could potentially be a good fit for something like this, or that could, help that out. I kind of incentivize, like, not say, hey, I'm going to pay you for this, but kind of be like, take care of me, I'll take care of you kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
How do you phrase that?
the I'll take care of you, you take care of me
Yeah.
thing. So what I'll say is, like, I just had a lady last night and got, or yesterday, got good vibes, and I was just like, hey, like, I know you got some children, some friends. If there's anybody that I could help out, or my services could be of use to them, I'd appreciate that. And I kind of, what did I say about the gift? I said you should be receiving something in the mail from me, um, as a gift, as a client, but also as a referral. She's like, I'll definitely do that. But I think a good learning curve too, because I've had people referred me, but they didn't want to give me their contact because they didn't want to seem like I was spamming them. So if you can get the information, obviously you don't want to press too hard, but like I had a lady that was like, hey, I want to refer you to my niece and nephew and my best friend. I'm like, okay, send me over their information. She didn't. I called her back the week later. She's like, they're gonna reach out to you, I promise, but I don't want to give you their information and then you randomly call them. So kind of find that balance of, staying on top of it and not letting those kind of referrals fall through the cracks. So
Absolutely. That's huge. That's huge. I really like that. And then also what I noticed was because I used to say life insurance, like, do you guys have any life insurance set up? But for whatever reason, what I found was you get more pushback when you mention life insurance, and it can be sort of a dirty word. So instead of specifically saying life insurance, how I phrase it now, it sounds like you say something similar, Bailey, where it's more so, do you guys have any sort of protection that covers you guys if you were to become sick, disabled, or pass away, any sort of coverage for your family? And when you phrase it like that, whatever reason, that people seem a lot more open and more inclined to want to hear what you have to say. So cool. Any questions about referrals? Awesome. All right. A couple of the things I wanted to hit on, and I was actually talking to a new agent on the phone right before this team call. One of our guys, and he was telling me, he was like, "Dude, I'm finally starting to figure it out and put the pieces together, and have a few consistent good months and get some momentum going." But he's like, "Dude, I'm still struggling with the mindset." And we were kind of talking about it, and it was basically, and I think a lot of people, the reason I'm sharing, I feel like a lot of people can attest to this, where you start overthinking it, where it's like, well, I had a good month, but what if I just got lucky? Or what if people don't want life insurance anymore? Or what if and then, or you have a good month and you're feeling really good, so then you're more inclined to take time off, and then you lose momentum. And that was the biggest thing. A lot of you guys have heard me share my story where I spent $3,000 on leads. Dude, I didn't make a sale for my first 3 weeks. So when I finally started to figure it out, I was like, dude, I was just terrified of going backwards. And that was momentum's everything, 100%. So that was the big, and I was terrified. So I never took time off. I never took a day off, nothing, because I just didn't want to lose that momentum. And that's been everything. And I'm still carrying that forward 3.5 years later. And that's huge, because you're really just setting yourself up for fail, not for failure, but you're really setting yourself up behind the eight ball. If, I mean, dude, like everyone struggles with it. Like, everyone sucks. I don't know a single person on the Zoom that had a good first dial day. Like, Gabe Erickson walked in our office not that long ago, and we had a new agent in here, and he was like, "Oh, how's your day going?" And she's like, "Oh, it's going fine." And Gabe's like, "Oh, so it sucks." She's like, "Yeah." So, like, when you finally start to get some momentum and some traction, the worst thing you can do is take time off. Why would you do that to yourself? And then try to get back into it. And then you feel like you're in this hamster wheel where, continue to apply that same work ethic, that same consistency. and that you first had, and things will turn on for you, I promise. But it's everyone quits in their first, if you're gonna quit, you're gonna quit within your first 9 months. There's nobody there. I don't hardly know of anyone that's quit after they've been here 9 months. I can't think of a single person, because when 9 months hits, well, dude, you're getting a good chunk of your income, 25%. When those back ends start rolling in, that's 25% of your income. That's a lot of money. I mean, I produced 500 my first year, so that was what, 125,000, say 100K with chargebacks. That's $100,000 that just came in back money that I forgot and I wasn't even expecting. So that's a huge thing, and you guys have all heard it, and a lot of people talk about it, but consistency truly is everything. And along with that, if you guys have gone through the new agent training course, this is one of the first things to talk about with new agents, where I say, hey guys, make your goals, instead of tied to an achievement. Like, an achievement would be, my goal is to make a sale a day. Like that, hypothetically, you'd think, yeah, that sounds like a great goal to have, but I don't like that goal, because you can't fully control if someone buys. Like, yeah, like you can control probably 80% of it, but the other 25% is completely out of your hands. But every single person on this call can control making 300 dials. Every single person on this call can control presenting to 5 people a day. And not only will it be a lot less of a roller coaster ride, and you're going to have a lot less emotion tied to that, but I promise you do that consistently, you'll actually make more sales and you'll have better results. So you're going to enjoy your job way more, because it alleviates a lot of the stress and a lot of the pressure, along with producing more, which is, of course, everybody's goal and the reason we're doing this. So just making sure that you're keeping the mindset right and the consistency right is everything. And also, I was talking to I don't think he'd mind if I was sharing this, but I was talking to Nick, I think yesterday, and Nick was like, I mean, dude, he's got, Nick, how many kids do you have?
Sorry, I missed that. What's up, bro?
Bro, how many kids do you have, if you don't mind sharing?
3, 1 on the way.
And 1 on the way. So there's a lot of, your wife's pregnant. It's just a lot of hormones in the house. And props to you, because you're a grinder. Like, you are always on the Zoom, bro. You're always grinding. You're one of the most consistent on the team. So I just wanted, first of all, give a shout out to you. But secondly, we were talking about this, where you're pretty much, you're either working or you're taking care of your family. But one thing I was encouraging, I said, you have to, in order to provide for your family, in order to perform, you have to take care of yourself first, because this is a performance-based job. So you could be grinding 12 hours a day, but if you're not in a good state of mind or a good healthy mindset, don't have good habits in place, you're not going to work as effectively. So I don't think you'd mind me sharing this, but I'd encourage everybody on this call, because a lot of people struggle with this, where it's, what we were talking about is take time for yourself in the mornings, where whenever someone calls me and they're like, hey, my numbers are off, or I'm struggling, one of the first things I say is, okay, what habits do you have in place? Are you mind, body, spirit? Because if you lack in one area of your life, that's going to flow through the other areas. So if you're struggling mindset wise, or if you're not getting the results you want in business, well, are you staying physically active? Like, are you working out every day? Are you doing something active every single day? If you're struggling with the mindset, are you reading? Are you developing yourself? Are you spending time before 8 a.m., after 8 p.m., meditating, doing breath work, making sure that you're good? Because if you take that time by yourself in the morning to work out, read, meditate, read your Bible, develop yourself, pray, whatever that is for you, and whatever you do, and you take that time, that's going to directly dictate your results throughout the day and allow you to perform optimally. So that's huge. And that's really all I got for you guys. This, obviously, we don't have a guest on today's call, so this one's more laid back. So any questions or anything else you guys want to go over in terms of, maybe talking with clients, or any rebuttals you got, or anything in regards to the business, feel free to unmute or drop in the chat.
I have a quick question.
Yo, who's talking?
Me, Montana.
Oh, what's
So,
up, bro? I see you.
so my question is, going back to the referrals. I'm assuming when you close a referral, you then ask them for 5 more emergency contacts. But do you just keep pulling that thread endlessly until that runs out? At what point do you transition back to your leads?
When the thread runs out. That's the beauty of it. Because when you get really good at it, it can go on for a long time. You know, if you're talking to the right people and you have the right thread. I mean, imagine if you were able to, like, think about on the low end, even if you increase your personal production by 20%, getting referrals. Think about how much more income that's going to make you guys and how much better you guys are going to ROI. And in addition to that, I would also encourage you guys, because you think about, I was another conversation I was having with an agent yesterday, where it was, a lot of times, when you factor in your ROI for the first year, which you should, which is great, it's whether it's a 4, 5, 6, 10x, whatever your ROI is on your leads. But I would also encourage you guys to look at the total lifetime ROI of the client, not just ROI in terms of one sale. Because you guys, I want to encourage everybody in this call, like, treat this as a long game, where a lot of you guys have been doing this for a year or less. I've been doing this 3.5 years. Like, I think about 3.5 years to me isn't even that long. Like, I still feel new a lot of times, and I have a long way to grow and a lot more I can become. But everybody on this call, if you treat your book of business and treat your clients like you're going to be doing this for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be, you're going to have a lot better results and you're going to have a lot better mindset when you look at it in terms of the long game. So think about, instead of, oh, how can I make this sale? And, oh, I'll call you, let you know if you're approved. And just like, that's not a good way of doing business. But when you create a true relationship with the client and you truly come across with servant's attitude, you care about them and you gain their trust and you build credibility, you like them, you're going to have a lot easier time doing that when you keep in mind the long game. So when you call them a year from now, they not only remember you, but they're excited to talk to you. They're willing to give you referrals. They're willing to upgrade their coverage, add policies on. If you only cover one of the spouse, cover the other spouse, cover the kids, the grandkids, get the kids' numbers, call the kids, app up the kids. Like, there's just endless possibilities, and I've done this. And I've been doing this for a few years now. And that's how you guys are really able to have some wild ROI on your leads. And I invested very, very heavily my first 2-3 years in this business. You guys all know that. My first year spent 130 grand on leads. Issue paid 550. Second year I spent right about that. Issue paid 800. Second full year. I mean, that's no secret. I've always spent pretty much always spent over 10K a month on leads. And not only did I have a solid ROI my first year, but you factor in the upcoming years with your annual reviews and all of that on a 10-year basis, that's when the ROI gets really crazy. So I'd also encourage you guys, when you are communicating with clients and tying it down, look at it in terms of the long game. And that also help with the normal day-to-day BS. It won't be as stressful or as tedious as well. Because the biggest thing, and you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys already came from sales, and one of the first things you hear in sales, and especially for this business, is simply just staying low. You're not getting too high. When a lot of you guys had a 10K plus week, and you guys have been submitting 10, 15, 20 grand. A lot of you guys have been really putting up numbers and really been consistent and crushing. Great. But next week, if it's 2, so what? I mean, you shouldn't be able to tell a difference. Like, I mean, Claudia can attest to this, but every time I'd come home, Claudia wouldn't be able to tell if I had done 10 grand that day or if I did 0. Because I was just so consistent, and just whatever the case may be, I'm just like, my mindset was always, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it a good day and to help clients. And if I do 10 grand, great. That's awesome. If I do 0, great. I'm going to figure out how I can be better, and I'm going to simply improve the next day. But regardless, I'm going to show up, and I'm just going to focus on what's in my power. And I put on my Instagram story this was 2 days ago, where I basically said something along the lines of so a lot of people think about success and they think about success in terms of the results they're going to get, and they think about the results. But instead of thinking about success and instead of perseverating and thinking about and focusing on that, think and perseverate and focus on the actions that are going to get you there and get you to that success. Don't focus on the end goal. Focus on the actions and activity that are going to eventually get you to that. So, cool. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Let me know any other questions or anything before we wrap up this call. We're going on about 30 minutes here. Dope. All righty. Well, we'll get you guys out of here. We'll let us know if you need anything, and let's make it a good weekend. Talk soon, guys.
Thanks, brother.